Welcome to the Hitlanders Podcast. I'm Tizone. Yo. I'm excited right now. Got the new podcast going. So, on this episode, we got Streetz money.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Streetz.
Yo, what's good, Streetz?
What's good? What's good with you?
Man, chilling. Really excited about this podcast. So, right now, I want to jump right into this. Tell us your story. Give us some background on you.
Well, 22 years old from the south side of Chicago. I really got a lot of my rap influences from my pops, the legendary Tizone. He's my biggest inspiration on like what made me start rapping. It's like I basically grew up in the studio just being around him my whole life. So he was a major influence on my decision to start rapping.
Oh, okay. So how long you been rapping?
Only for about 2 years, but according to a lot of my songs, you would think it's longer.
Wow, 2 years. Okay. And in that 2 years, like, what have you really learned about the business side? Because, this podcast is 10% talent, 90% business. So what have you learned, about the business side of things?
Oh, man, it's like the business side, like just learning more about the business side, I realize it's like it's very important, first off, that you learn the business side because you can end up just putting a lot of time into your craft and not really getting your money's worth from it. So that's one thing I would say. And really, like the business side, it's a cutthroat game that we playing. It's a cutthroat industry. It's like a lot of knowledge about the business side that people don't want you to know, mainly because if you don't know it, they could easily take advantage of you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Because it's a lot of artists out now, being taken advantage of because a lack of knowledge of the business. So I think it's real important to, focus in on that business side. So in your time in your career, what would you say was like your biggest mistake?
I think honestly, my biggest mistake, I would say, is the amount of time that I've wasted doing music, basically because I'm not doing the business the right way. Like I'm just like a lot of upcoming artists, you see they all running with the same format of putting out music. They go grab them a beat or something off of YouTube, go in the studio, record something to it, boom, drop it. Ain't nobody really going out and getting like leasing beats, making sure that you could actually legally put it out on streaming platforms and make money from it. It's like, now it's starting to become more common, mainly because people know about it now, but it's still a lot of people that's still just taking that route of just YouTube, SoundCloud, anywhere that you could drop it for free.
Oh, okay. So it's really like no way to monetize it. So people just basically looking to try to get a buzz, but not really doing the business side, right?
Yeah, I would say the amount of time that I spent like really going that route, that's what I would say my biggest mistake is, because now it's like once I start getting the knowledge of the business side, now it's like my whole process of just putting together music and even dropping music is just completely different.
Okay. All right. So like what is like the main thing, like how you get over all of those obstacles, those mistakes? So you kind of answered it, but elaborate more on how you corrected, that process.
Basically just using the resources that you have at your disposal. It's like, like my situation of learning the business side was different from the average person because I grew up around, like, my father's is a platinum selling producer. So it's like multi-platinum. So it's like I have the resources to really learn the business side. But for those who don't really have those resources, I would say we all got cell phones. It's like take everything that you could everything that you could learn, that you could even think about wanting to learn in the world, you could get on your cell phone, Google it. It's like it's many different resources that you could find just on the internet alone to basically learn more about the business side. Like, all right, what's publishing, what's royalties, what's the difference between having a record deal and a production deal,
Right.
Simple things like that.
Right. A lot of people don't even understand, the things like that, the difference between the two, what's a joint venture and things like that.
Yeah.
So, like, you say you've been rapping for 2 years. Where do you think you're at, skill wise? Like, kind of like elaborate on how good you think you are.
I mean, I feel like, well, it's like I only been rapping for 2 years, but it's like my whole life I just been writing like poetry and things like that. So it's like, I look at it as like rap is just a form of poetry. So it's like actually taking like my talents from writing poetry and putting them into effect with rapping. I feel like using that technique is really, my skill level is higher than the average, I'm gonna say. Not trying to be cocky, just being I'm a very humble individual, but at the end of the day, I hear everything that's being put out nowadays. I'm way better than the average.
Okay. So if you wasn't rapping, like, what would you be doing right now if you wasn't rapping?
Honestly, I'm not exactly sure like what exactly I would be doing, but I just feel like with my passion for music, it would definitely be still something related to music, whether it's on the creative side or the business side. It would have been something related to music.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that, because you pretty much, gotta learn both sides anyway to be successful in this game. So, like, tell us about your debut album, 4743.
So 4743, the whole concept of the album came from the address to the house that I grew up in Chicago. So in that house, my father, Tizone, he ran his own independent label out of the studio in the basement. So it's crazy because it was actually one of the biggest independent labels in the city. So we dealt with a lot of different artists as far as like different styles of rap, R&B. We had singers. It was just we had a versatile roster. So I look at my style of rapping as like trying to be as versatile of a rapper as I can. So everything that my pops did when he ran that label like was self-sufficient. So everything from the rapping, the producing, videos, even the pushing the physical copies of the CDs, that was all done independently. So
Right.
And everything that we're doing now is basically the same way. So it's like for us to be still using this format 20 years later, I feel like this album basically shows the versatility of me as an artist from my influences.
Right. So for the people who listening, he basically talking about me. Streetz Money, that's my son. So he gets a lot of like his influence from what I've done, and him, being in the studio like 2 years old, sitting on my lap while I'm making beats, running around the studio, twisting knobs, hitting buttons, things like that. So when he referring to, oh, my pops this, my pops that, he's basically referring to me. So that's the, the inside plug, on everything. So, like, what keeps you motivated to, like, do music and you like continue? Like, how do you get, inspired?
Honestly, a lot of like the motivation like to like keep pursuing music, because like honestly, I could easily look at music as like I have a deep passion for music, so I could easily just look at it as a situation like, oh, I'm gonna just take this situation as a hobby, and I'm gonna just just make music that I like to listen to just for me to listen to. But the thing that really like keeps me going to like push my music on a professional level to like actually make a career out of it is the amount of basically just the support that I get from my fan base. Like, it's a lot of people, like not even people that I know on a personal level, like just actual like fans who don't even know me personally. It's like they just still like take the time to just support my music, stream my music, watch my videos, hit me up on my social media pages, just all give me all types of feedback about my music. Those are really the people that keep me going, like as far as like pushing a career for it.
Okay. So being from Chicago, do you think like with all the things that goes on in Chicago, do it have an influence on your music? Like, your content, things like that. So like elaborate on that a little bit.
I feel like it has a big influence on my music, mainly because like the whole drill era of Chicago, that's basically the era like that I was growing up in, like the whole 2011 to 2015 era. That's the era of music that basically I was after basically that's the era that made me.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah. That's the era that really, caught your ear and said, during that time, you like, okay, I really want to get into this music thing. I'm going full force.
It's like these dudes is local rappers from the south side of Chicago, just like me. It's like they just regular dudes that walk down the street every day, and they were making full blown careers out of this. So I'm like, if they basically just showed if anybody could do it, why can't I?
Right. So how many songs is on 4743?
22.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the idea behind using that many songs?
Basically, a lot of like the modern day music that's being released now, people don't drop good quality albums. Like a lot of the newer rappers, they gonna give you mixtapes, if you want to call it that. They gonna give you a solid 10 to maybe 14 songs that all of them honestly not even gonna be good. I'ma just be honest. All of them not gonna be good. You probably gonna have a good 5 songs out of that 14 song project that you still gonna be listening to 3 months from its release date. So the whole concept with putting 4743 together was going back to like the old ways of putting projects together, like putting full albums together, like quality music, a mass amount of songs, and just make sure that it's up to par, like something that's gonna last long.
Okay. Well, what do you think that's making like artists only having like 5 songs out of 20 that's hits? Like what's stopping, that creative process from being, next level and people having full projects? Like during my time, like if you listen to say like Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style, you can listen to beginning to end. Every single record is a hit. I'm talking about just put it on and let it play straight through. So like what's stopping that now?
I feel like it's mainly just the trends that go on in music. It's like everybody's sounding the same because everybody's trying to follow the same trend. So it's like when you got a group of artists that's all getting exposure, that's all basically making the same style of songs, it's like, okay, anybody else that's on the up and coming level, they gonna wanna follow that trend because that's what they see is hot right now. They just want to get on. So they gonna follow what they see everybody else drawing their attention to.
Okay.
So it's mainly just a situation. It's like it's not really a lot of uniqueness in music today, especially in the hip hop genre.
So what's gonna make you different from the average, Chicago rapper that, come up, or even just the average rapper now, like that's coming out? Because it's 100,000 rappers on SoundCloud. What's gonna make you stand out amongst the crowd?
I would say my versatility, my ability to be unique, and mainly my lyrical content. Cause it's not a lot of people it's not a lot of rappers nowadays that's coming out that's actually lyrical. They mainly just saying the same thing. They just saying what the people want to hear. It's just they just talking behind good beats.
Okay, so what's your idea of versatility?
I would say, like, basically my style of rap, if you listen to all of 4743, you wouldn't be able to categorize me as what type of rapper. Like oh, they put certain rappers in the drill category. They put certain rappers in the conscious rapper category. It's like you wouldn't be able to put me in just one category if you actually listen to my whole album.
Okay. So is that like something you did by choice, or is it, like something you just said, like, well, I'm just gonna grab this beat, get this beat, or whatever? So explain that concept. Is it by design?
It's a little bit of both. Like it's something that basically I noticed about myself when I started rapping. It was like, okay, I got a lot of different styles that I could use that work for me. And it's like once I started actually taking music like seriously, like to the point to where I'm basically trying to make money off it. When I started taking it serious to that point, that's when I'm like, okay, let's capitalize off this. It's not a lot of rappers that can make a full project with as many different styles as I did. So let's capitalize off that. Let's use that quality that I know I have about myself and run with it.
Okay. I can see that. All right. So as far as like the business, how are you going about like really, really learning the business aspect of all this? Because like a lot of people just think that, oh, this is just the music, but no, it's the music business. So how are you going about, learning the business aspect of things?
Books. I can't give another answer other than that. If you're not gonna use the internet, books. There's plenty of books out in the world that basically let's teach you specifically about the business side of the music business. So it's like I said before, the knowledge is everywhere, the resources everywhere. It's just about how bad that you want it. Are you gonna take the time to go get that knowledge and get those resources?
So what are some of the things that, the key things that you learned out of, some of the books? What are some of the, the takeaways?
Basically a lot of the things that I learned, basically like the different type of the deals between like the joint ventures, as you was mentioning, the production deals, the label deals, like what's publishing, what's royalties, what's in advance in your deal. Like it's no one answer that I could give to that. It's a lot of takeaways that's all equally important that I've learned lately.
So what do you think about like the independent route versus more of trying to get a record deal? Like what's your route? How are you going about doing things on your side?
Honestly, I believe like, okay, so as far as getting a record deal, I feel like no artist really needs a record deal. Like, I feel like the only reason artists go out and get record deals now is mainly because they don't have the, I'ma just be honest, they don't have the drive enough, or they don't have the passion enough, they don't have the grind enough to go out and do all the work themselves. So they want someone to do the work for them. All they want to do is just make the music. But it's like, that's just the easy part. Now, after you make your song, you got to figure out, all right, how I'm gonna put this song out and how I'm gonna make money off it. How am I gonna promote this song? How am I gonna gain more exposure off this song? What if this is not the song that's gonna blow up? Then what I'm gonna do? Am I gonna take the time to go out and make another project and then drop another song and keep repeating the process and trying new things until something works? Like those the artists that I feel like are the reason that they go get deals, because they don't have the drive to just keep doing it.
So basically it's consistency. Now, like what are the main things that you do on the independent level with your career that you feel that's gonna take your career to the next level? Like, what is that independent grind for somebody who's listening who don't have no idea? What is that independent grind like?
It's honestly, it's crazy, because I feel like in order to make it on the independent level, I feel like one of the biggest qualities that you have to gain control of is time management, because you always gonna be working on something. It's always gonna be something that you're working on, whether it's writing your music, recording your music, promoting your music, trying to like get into a radio station, getting somewhere, a venue or somewhere to book you for a show or something like that. Just getting things set up for your music videos, getting props, locations. It's always gonna be a grind. You always gonna be working on something. So I would say time management is one of the biggest things. And another thing, make sure you don't, if you were to sign some type of record deal, don't be in a situation to where you sign something that you don't know what you're signing.
So the key basically is have a good attorney, good management, and you actually doing the research of the business yourself. Because a lot of artists think that, oh, my music is so hot that I'm going to get the best deal. Your music being hot or whatever, that has absolutely nothing to do with you getting the best deal. The best deal is what you negotiate. You get what you negotiate. That's the key.
Because people don't realize, like, record labels don't care about how good of an artist you are. They don't care. All they care about is how good can they market you? How good can they make how much money they can make off you? That's all they care about.
But if you look at the music industry from a business aspect, of course it's going to be like how much profit you really can make. Because business is about profit. Why would you get in business and you're not trying to make a profit? So that's what artists need when they go into these meetings. They need to think from a business aspect. Okay, how much profit are you going to get? What do if you're going in and the record company giving you 6 points, then yeah, that's a problem. Because how you going to live off of 6 points?
See, that's another thing. It's like a lot of people don't even know what you mean when you say 6 points. They don't even know how the point system works.
Right. So, you going in, you getting the average, some 12 points, 14 points. So out of those points, you looking at 3 points is automatically allocated to your production. So you deducting that, then out of, whatever marketing budgets and tour budgets, whatever is being spent, that, all that money has to be recouped, which is made back. So you could actually get your points. Your points don't kick in until the record company got all of their money back. So if they don't get their money back, your points don't even matter.
And then it's like depending on the type of deal, if you in a production deal, that lowers your points even more, because now you splitting a bigger amount of your points with your producer, with the production team.
The production company. So I think it's definitely, it's vital that you learn the business side of things, because it's the music business, not just the music. So once I think, a lot of artists starts to understand that, the approach of even making music will be totally different.
Oh yeah, it definitely will.
It'd be totally different. So like, how important you think, is social media to an artist's career?
I feel like it's essential, honestly, because it's like it's 2020. Everybody uses social media. It's like you could go out and perform in as many venues as you want in your area. You could do as much local stuff as you want, but no one's gonna know you outside of just your local fan base if you're not on social media in some way, if you're not promoting yourself in some way.
So how do you use social media with your career?
Mainly, that's social media is basically my biggest tool when it comes to promoting my music. Like all my snippets of my songs, live streaming, studio sessions. We even got a virtual concert that we putting together that's supposed to be coming soon. So stay tuned for more information on that. And then, yeah, that's basically the way to use it. Just constantly promoting, just constantly putting some type of content out there for people to see.
So when you're making a record, you're making songs, what is your approach to like your creative process? What do you do first when you're making records?
It honestly depends on the type of mood I'm in, because depending on how I'm feeling that day, there's some days that I don't start writing until I hear the beat, and then other days I'll start writing just off a melody that I'm hearing in my head, and then I'll just be trying to find a beat to match that, either that melody or that flow pattern. And then from there, when it comes to writing a song, I always write my hook first. My hook gotta go first, because it's like once I have that hook, I got the whole concept of the song. So putting the verse together, that's easy. Like a lot of artists nowadays, they don't really be talking about anything in their songs. They just be ranting about a bunch of different things. But like me, I'm the type of artist that I want to give you a song that's actually about something. I want you to actually be able to tell me what this song is about.
So what do you think about like what do you consider like a conscious rapper? Is it one of the situations where it's like, a conscious rapper is somebody who rap about politics or whatever? Like, what is your idea of a conscious rapper versus somebody doing like trap or something?
I mean, I feel like the category conscious rapper even shouldn't really even be a category, because I feel like they put the more lyrical rappers into the conscious rapper category off back, because if a situation comes up about politics or social injustice or something like that, 9 times out of 10, those are gonna be the artists that'll probably speak up on it first.
Mm-hmm.
So they try to put those more lyrical rappers in that category, mainly because they'll mention things like that, conscious things in their songs.
So who were like some of your influences, as far as, rapping? Because you said, you're real lyrical and all that. Where do you get that skill from?
I feel like as an artist, the lyrical side, if I had to pick 3 rappers that I would say would influence the lyrical side of my style, I'll say Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Freddie Gibbs. Like, those are the main 3 artists that I could say influence the lyrical side of my style.
And where does like the trap side come from?
I feel like that side, of course, Gucci. I grew up listening to Gucci, so of course Gucci, and I say Future and Young Thug, cause it's like, yeah, I could give you the lyrical songs, the straight spitting, but I could give you like the more melodic auto-tune songs too as well.
Okay. So as far as like cause in my era, like CDs was really, really big, and it was just a totally different time where we got out in the streets. We sold CDs hand to hand. We had a bigger profit margin. So how do you feel about, the CD versus, streaming? Because right now you got to have like 1,500 streams to get one CD sale.
It's a touchy situation, because it's like, in a way the streaming is better, but it's not. Cause it's like, all right, so you take the CD era, for example. Let's say a fan goes in the store, he buys a CD, boom, $17.99. I know CDs was kind of expensive back then. So
yeah, we was getting them, from $13.99 on up to $17.99.
Yep.
and like that. So like, go ahead.
It's like you get that one sale, that $17.99, but with the streams, that same fan could run up billions of streams just off listening to that same song over and over time, and you constantly gonna be getting revenue generating from that fan, from that same song, that same album, whatever it is, for years. The only thing that makes it bad on the side for the streaming platforms is how low the payouts are. That's the main thing, because honestly, the idea of the streaming platforms has the potential to be one of the biggest moves, one of the artists will have the most to benefit on those sides. But because the payouts are so low, it makes it even harder now, because it's like it's so easy for people to use the streaming platforms, but like you was mentioning, it takes so many streams just to get one sale.
Like me personally, I probably could sell a CD faster than I can get 1,500 streams. So, like, a lot of artists are still like eliminating the physical sale of a CD, when I think that you're eliminating that, which is eliminating the stream of income, because there's still a lot of fans, real fans, that want to get a physical copy of a CD, but artists not looking at that avenue, because as I'm noticing, you got vinyl coming back. People are pressing up, greatest hits on vinyl. So if you could still sell vinyl, why you can't sell a CD? Yeah. And I think a lot of artists they're missing, that stream of income, which is very, very important. And when you can sell a CD for $10, like, okay, how many streams is gonna take you to make $10?
It's gonna take you some thousands.
So don't you think that you could sell a CD to a fan faster than you can get 1,500 or 3,000 streams? And then when you start looking at it, okay, you look at the payout with from the streaming platforms. Now, imagine you inside of a record deal and you look at that streaming platform payout and you're only getting 12% of that low payout. So you looking at having a record deal, you got to pay all of that money back, any advancements, recording budgets, tour budgets, marketing budgets, whatever, out of that low payout. And when that's your only stream of income, it's going to take you forever. By the time you pay that back, you be 3 or 4 albums in, which it done stacked up. So if you're not going platinum, multi-platinum, how are you going to get out of the hole? So if you don't own the masters and all that, it's going to be hard to really come out of the hole and pay that money back. Whatever advancement that you took, which it don't even matter if it's a $100,000 or $1 million advance, you got to sell a lot of records and a ton of streams in order to recoup their money back before you even get a royalty check. Because I know a lot of artists who's never, ever, ever seen a royalty check from their label because they stay in the hole, and the record company constantly build them basically like, okay, this is what you're paying for. That's what you're paying for. Your recording budget was $300,000. How you gonna get out of that? So they give you another chance. You roll over, then that bill rolls over into your next budget. Now you look up, you're $1 million in the hole. Like I read the article with they saying Jay-Z cleared out what, $10 million or $12 million a DMX bill. So you think about it. Where did that money go? You owing the record label $10 and $12 million, and then you looking at the streaming payout. How you gonna make $10 or $12 million back off of that stream when it take 1,500 streams to be equivalent to one album sale? That's a stretch. So if you don't have the fan base and selling and doing like 1 billion streams, you won't make money in this business unless you're doing it independently and you're owning your content and you're figuring out how many ways you can make, different income streams off of one project or one song. So you think about it. How many ways are you trying to make, a stream of income off of 4743? What are the ways that you're making money off of it?
What? Streams? Physical CDs.
Mm-hmm.
Streams, physical CDs. My royalties from basically registering with BMI, publishing.
Okay. What about merchandise?
Of course, merchandise. I don't really categorize that with 47, 43 mainly because it's like merchandise is more personal to the artist.
Yeah, but you should. So you're not selling 47, 43 merchandise?
The actual 47, 43 merchandise, the designs are still in the works, but not yet. We're not actually pushing the 47, 43 merchandise yet. But that's coming very soon though.
So how fast are you moving on it? Because shouldn't you be capitalizing off of that? Being that the project is out, you got 22 songs.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. You have to figure out how you can create multiple streams of income off of everything that you do. You have to, because one, even on the independent level, with owning your masters, the streaming platforms, the payout is still way too low. I believe that it should be new laws passed where, that streaming platform is boosted up. So it's been a lot of, talk and things going on with Congress that, we're fighting. Songwriters are fighting to change, these laws and get those, rates, boosted up. So it's a long fight, but it's worth it because that streaming platform payout is way too low. The YouTube payout is way too low. The biggest, who's doing the biggest payout right now is Tidal. You know what I'm saying? Tidal has the biggest payout. So I encourage, artists, get those streams off of Tidal because they have the highest payout. Have your fans, if you know that they have Tidal, have them stream your music on Tidal because they're the ones that's more for the artists and the artistry. Versus, we gonna give them the lowest payout for the creativity that, their hard work and their effort. No, you have to learn the business and look at the fact that, okay, let's promote our music on the platforms that's actually for us. Pretty much for us, by us. And that's what we have to look at. So with that being said, what would you tell artists, at this point, like from your experience, in the business, thus far, what would you tell artists that's brand new to the game, trying to get in and do what you're doing? What would you tell them?
I would tell them, don't lowball yourself on your dreams. Don't lowball your dreams. Cause basically it's a lot of artists nowadays, like up and coming artists, that want other people to invest in them, but won't invest in themselves. Like you can't expect somebody to do that. Like you can't expect somebody to have faith in you if you don't have faith in yourself. So don't lowball your dreams. Like it might take putting out music and making money off of it the right way might cost a little money, but it takes money to make money. No one became a millionaire without having to spend money along the way.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely have to invest in yourself. And the biggest thing is believing. And I feel like if you get the proper knowledge, then it makes the journey a lot easier. And you have to, I believe in mentorship. You have to find somebody to mentor you. If you don't find like a mentor, it's going to be hard for you to really, really learn the business, because it's like, I feel like with any business, you need hands-on experience. And that hands-on experience comes from being, around people that's trying to do what you're doing. Because how could you really do something and like you're not around the people that's doing it. When I started, making beats and, getting into DJing, I was around people who was already doing what I was doing. So it made it a lot easier. So artists need to look at mentorship because it's a business. If you into marketing, you coming out of college or whatever, the first thing you do is get an internship. That's like being mentored, so you can get some type of experience. A lot of artists jumps into this business with no experience. So how you gonna, propel your career to the next level when you don't have a blueprint? It's like blueprint is everything. If that's half the battle, basically, having a blueprint. So when it comes to like the business and music, how do you balance the two?
I basically look at it like you say, as a blueprint, like it's a formula. Like when it comes to, like, it's basically like the entire idea of dropping music is basically a process. It's like, all right, now once you done actually went in the studio and recorded your song, got to get it mixed and mastered. Once you get it mixed and mastered, you get it ready to drop. Still got to register with BMI. Still got to get the sound exchange. Still got to basically register your music with these different resources to make sure that you get money from in every possible stream that you can when your music drops.
Okay. So how important is that balance? Because a lot of artists skip that part because they rely on other people to do it for them. So like how important is that, and how important is it for an artist to actually know how to do that themselves?
I feel like it's very important for artists to be able to know how to do all that themselves, because it's like at the end of the day, you could be having someone do this stuff for you, and then you would never, if you don't actually know what these things are and where the money's coming from and how to register all these things, someone could be stealing your money and you would never know it, basically. That's the way I look at it. So it's like, not saying that everybody's out to get you, everybody's out to try to finesse you or something, but you would never know if somebody is if you don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's the key, like knowing where these sources of income is coming from. But I look at like when I got into like the game, I had a few key people around me that would show me, the business. I had a really, really good attorney that wasn't, just out to say, okay, I'm just finna make profit off of him and this, that, and the other. And I actually learned the business from her. She basically showed me a lot, how to read the contracts and, what was in the contracts, what is sync licensing and all these different things. So I was fortunate enough to be around some really good people, because good people in a business like this that's, fast paced, lot of money involved, it's hard to find good people. So I believe, you got to have a good team. If you don't have a good team, then you're doomed from the start, because it's just hard. Teamworks really make that dream work, So with that being said, what are some of the things that you feel you still have to learn or improve on that's going to take your brand and your business to the next level?
I mean, the way I look at it right now is like it's always room for improvement. Like I look at it with the mindset, if I ain't sitting on $10 million, I ain't doing something right. Then it's always room for improvement. So I just look at it as like basically using the resources that I have at my disposal to push my career even further. I feel like that's one of the biggest things that I need to basically get more control of on the business side. Just basically using the resources that I have to basically just gain more exposure, get more people to actually hear the music.
Mm-hmm. So when you say resources, what are you referring to? Like things like what?
As far as like, the in-home studio, in-home cameraman, my social media resources, my mailing list, things like that. Just how do I use all these different resources that I have at my disposal to just constantly keep everything moving forward? How do I keep pushing things forward?
Okay. So with YouTube being like that number one platform, how often are you dropping like video content and keeping your audience engaged and in tune with what's to come, everything, what is your process with that?
As far as like my actual music videos, I've been slowing down my consistency on dropping music videos, mainly because I've been dipping and dabbing into other fields, like more in the actual production field, more than the videography field. Mm-hmm. But I'm still trying to keep at least 2 videos a month dropping. I'm trying to get more consistent with that. And then like all my projects and other music that I've been dropping like on the streaming platforms, it's also available to stream on my YouTube channel as well. So basically just always keeping some type of content, and then just even other things outside of music videos, just rather if it's just a snippet video of me just spitting a verse or something from a song that I wrote, just uploading things like that as well.
Okay. So how do you feel about like when artists flood like the social media with content? They put out just a mass amount of content regardless of if it's their best record or not. What do you feel about that? Do you think the market is, some artists oversaturate the market?
I feel like they do, but nowadays, with it being so many different artists that's out right now, I feel like that's what you have to do, because the market is already oversaturated as it is. So it's like, since we already in an oversaturated market, it's like you might as well oversaturate the market with yourself.
So basically, like frequently putting out material and like trying to cut through the noise.
Basically. So
with all that content, being out there, how do you think artists, are able to cut through that noise like that? Like, what makes an artist stand out these days?
Nowadays, I feel like the quality of the artist is like, yeah, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of artists that's honestly not even all that good of rappers or anything like that. They're not that good of rap. They're not that good at being rappers, but they're still getting exposure. They're still getting famous. It's mainly because they're consistent. You just have to, it's like you always just have to be consistent in what you're doing.
So you say, oh, this artist is not that good, that artist is not that good. That's subjective. that could be just
Yeah,
your opinion.
Yeah, honestly,
Because what are they doing? What are they doing that they're getting that exposure and they're getting millions of streams and all of these different things? So what's good or bad?
I feel like that makes them more. That just makes them more good. Like you say, the music business is 10% talent, 90% business. Mm-hmm. I feel like that means they're just more set up they just have a better understanding of the 90% side more than the 10% side.
So basically, what's more valuable, the 10% talent or the 90% business?
Oh, the 90% business is definitely more like is you take any type of class, you get a 90%, you're still gonna pass that class. You get a 10%, you failing off back.
Facts.
The least talented artist in the world could become a millionaire off they music if they know how to market themselves and market their music. If they can handle the business side, that's all it takes.
So do you think with a lot of artists knowing that it's 10% music, 10% talent, 90% business, do you think that that's why they're not trying to perfect their craft on the creative side, and you just got mass amount of songs coming out, everything almost sound the same drum patterns and all of this, type of stuff? So do you think that people are not perfecting their craft enough?
Honestly, yeah. It goes back to what I was saying about the trends. It's like they're not worrying about being a good artist. They just want to be the next hot artist. So they follow what's hot now. It's like they follow the trends. They follow the trends rather than trying to be the one to set the trend.
So how do you feel about an artist? You see in an artist that you feel like you're better than them, but they're getting more exposure than you, and how do you take that? What is your takeaway from that?
I mean, basically, when I see situations like that, I just basically I analyze that artist and their basically like their path to where they at now, and I basically look at that and I'm like, okay, what is this person doing, or what was they doing to get that exposure that they got that I'm not doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's like my biggest takeaway from it. It's like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Because if I feel like I'm better than this person, then I feel like if I'm in their situation and I have their fan base and their resources, that I could make it farther than them. So what are they doing that I'm not doing? That's basically how I look at it.
That's a good way to look at it, because it's kind of like I would say like artist hacking. You're looking at what this artist is doing and you're taking away the good points and adding them, to what you're trying to do, and seeing how you can do, those things better. So in today's industry, I think everything is really going like light speed. Things are changing so fast. There's so many different, ways to do things. Mm-hmm. I think people are forgetting the fundamentals of what the business is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's simple as email. Because it takes an email address to get on social media.
It takes an email address to do anything.
But people don't create an email campaign, which that's something, I'm going to talk about, in another episode, But the email campaign is really, really huge. So as far as Streetz money, where where do you see your career in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, where do I see my career? Wow, I haven't been asked this question at all. Honestly, at the rate that I'm going, with the quality of music that I'm putting out, I see myself as one of the biggest rap artists out in the next 5 years.
Okay, elaborate a little more. What is the biggest or best artist out? Like, what is that in detail? So people who listening can have, an idea.
Like, basically, like, the act is, I would say, the accolades that I would have. I plan on having platinum plaques, at least gold plaques, hopefully platinum, multi-platinum in the next 5 years. #1 album on Billboard. And this not even just like, a lot of people might hear my answers to this question and just think like, man, this dude, like, he real cocky or something like that. But it's like, nah, I'm just that confident in my talent and my craft. Like, I'm that talented. I really feel like I'm that talented.
Which you should feel that. You should feel that way.
Yeah, it's like,
definitely.
If I don't feel that way about myself, how can I expect anybody else to?
Exactly, because it's all about, speaking it into existence. If you believe, then other people will believe. And, you have to display that type of energy. Yeah, so you can get to the next level.
It's like 5 years. It's like the music industry is so, everything, just like you said, it happens at light speed so fast. We don't even know what's gonna happen we don't know what's gonna be popping in the next 5 days or 5 weeks, let alone 5 years. So
yeah, that's a fact. So tell everybody where you could, where they could find your music and, where they can get your merchandise and all of those things.
So you could search up my YouTube channel, Streetz Money, and then all my music videos and my projects will be there, as well as on the streaming platforms, whatever streaming platform it is that you use, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Napster, all that. Streetz Money. That's all you got to search up. STREETZ Money. And as far as my merch, you can get to the website at streetzmoney.storeenvy.com.
Okay, so do you have your own website as well?
Yes, my website is streetzmoney.com. That's the actual website that's basically like my official website. All of my information is going to be on there, to contact me for bookings, features, things like that, as well as information about my music releases and video releases too.
All right, cool. Man, I appreciate you, coming to the Hitlanders Podcast.
Appreciate you having me.
Chopping it up and, sharing your experiences with, other artists. And hopefully, people can listen and gain something from this. And we're going to keep, dropping that knowledge, dropping jewels. And, hit us up, on the streaming platforms and leave, comments and let us know how y'all feeling this episode and other things that y'all want us to, tackle and talk about. So with that being said, I'm out of here. It's Tizone, Hitlanders,
Streetz.